So music therapy is a psychological intervention, and it is an intervention that you can use with all manner of different people, ages, and it is not based on their musical capacity or their musical ear. It is accessible to everyone. And music therapy is a way for people to communicate where maybe they would find it really hard to talk, or maybe they don't even have the capacity to talk. So after my A-levels, I went on to do a 3-year undergraduate course in creative expressive therapies at Derby University. And following on from that, I then completed a 2-year full-time master's in music therapy at Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge. And it was upon completing the 2-year master's that I was then qualified to be a music therapist. One of the things that I love most about being a music therapist is that I get to see children, because I mostly work with children, really come alive in our sessions, and they get to use their time to really express themselves in a way that they know that they are safe and they are in a secure place. And in these moments you get to really see what's going on for children, and these are children that may really struggle to express themselves in any other way. So it's a real privilege to be kind of allowed into their lives in a way that others may struggle to kind of identify with. When your child comes to music therapy, you can expect that it will take place in the same time, in the same room, in the same venue every week. So boundaries are really important in music therapy, and so we try and keep everything as consistent as possible. In coming into the music therapy room, it really depends on how young your child is and how comfortable they are being with or without you, as to whether you are also part of the music therapy session. And that's something that we can discuss in a consultation process, and also just assessing the therapy as it goes. Once you're in the room, there's a selection of percussion instruments, tuned and untuned. We have things like guitars, drums, ocean drums, wind chimes. We also have pianos. So we have a whole selection of different instruments, and your child can expect to be able to play these instruments freely, and it will be actively encouraged that they explore these instruments, and not necessarily in the way that we might traditionally play a guitar. It might be that your child wants to play the guitar by hitting it or tapping it or feeling the vibrations, and that's absolutely fine. Depending on how sessions progress, it might be that I offer more of a structured session, so I might try and engage your child with things that feel more familiar, like nursery rhymes or other familiar songs, or I might suggest activities or games within the session. But other times it might be more appropriate for your child to just be able to express themselves through their own improvisation and playing. And it's my job as the music therapist to help them make sense of what they're playing. So that might be improvising along with them and creating an amazing piece of music with them, or it might be just sitting with them in the moment whilst they experience a level of feeling that maybe they've not experienced before, or it might be encouraging them in new skills like social skills and turn taking, or helping them to utilise their voice a little bit more. So it really does depend on the need of the child. It depends on how they engage in the therapy. There's no fixed way of doing music therapy, and every single child that I work with responds in their own unique way, and I think that's one of the things that makes this such a special thing to do. So music therapy is a therapy which requires processing and relationship building, and all of this takes time. So what we ask is for a commitment of a term at least, with a view to kind of have ongoing therapy sessions. What happens is, after the first half a term, so the first 6 or 7 weeks, I write up a comprehensive assessment of how sessions have gone so far, and I pinpoint some aims and actions that we're going to work towards in the sessions. And then I review this on a regular basis. So ideally we want to have an open-ended view of music therapy because it is a relationship, and relationships progress and develop with time in whatever capacity that is. When it comes to finishing music therapy, we ask for lots of time because often by that point a really firm relationship has been built between the therapist and the child, and often also the parents as well, and finishing these therapeutic relationships can be quite difficult. So we ask for at least half a term's notice if we are coming to an end of sessions, and often this will be done in discussion with myself as a therapist so we can work out what the best possible ending could be for your child. I get asked this a lot. I get asked about music teaching, and music therapy is not teaching. It's not teaching in and of itself. I am not a qualified music teacher. However, there are times where children will come to me in the session and they want to learn a particular song on the piano. They can hear that they want to be able to play Twinkle Little Star, for instance. And actually, as part of developing the relationship that I have with that child, I will help them hear the music and help them work out how to play those notes. But beyond that, it's not really a teaching forum. It is more about the relationship and the processing, both consciously and unconsciously, that takes place in the room and for that child.